Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Mr. Burias, your online math teacher. In today's video, you will learn how to solve synthetic division. Let's start. Synthetic division, it is a short method of dividing polynomials. It makes use of the coefficients of the dividend and the divisor. For example, divide 3x cubed minus 5x minus 2 by x minus 3 using synthetic division. To solve this problem, you have to observe the given dividend if it's already in decreasing powers and if it's complete. When you say complete, there is no missing term. From the given dividend, the exponent is already in order, but there is a missing term, which is the quadratic term. Now, if there is a missing term, you have to add 0 or you have to replace 0 just to give space. Now, from here, it becomes 3x cubed plus 0x squared minus 5x minus 2. After we add 0 to the quadratic term, we will now get the numerical coefficients of each terms. From here, we have a 3, then put 0, negative 5, and negative 2. After we get the numerical coefficients of the dividend, we will get the value of x from the divisor. The divisor is x minus 3. We will just equate that to 0 to get the value of x. So x minus 3 is equal to 0. The value of x is positive 3. That is why we have positive 3 here. Then start solving. First is you are going to bring down the first number, which is 3. Then start multiplying. 3 times 3 is 9. Then add 0 plus 9 is 9. Then multiply. 9 times 3 is 27. And negative 5 plus 27 is positive 22. Then 22 times 3 is 66. And negative 2 plus 66 is 64. Take note that the number here, or the last number, is the remainder of the given polynomial. And 22 here is the constant term. Then 9 is the linear term. And 3 here is for the quadratic term. Now, we will put the values, or the variables rather, of this numerical coefficient. And we have this 22 as the constant term, so there is no variable. And for the linear term, of course, there must be one exponent only, that is 9x. Then for the 3, that's quadratic term, that is why we have there 3x squared. And since they are all positive, the operation that we are going to use is plus. So the final answer is 3x squared plus 9x plus 22 plus the remainder, which is 64, over the divisor x minus 3. This is the final answer. Let's try some problems about synthetic division. Number 1. Divide x cubed minus 3x squared plus x minus 1 by x minus 2 using synthetic division. To solve this problem, we need to follow these steps. First, write the coefficients of the dividend and the divisor. The dividend, or the exponent of the dividends, must be in descending order, or the powers of the variable must be in descending order. As we observe, the powers or the exponents are already in descending order, and there is no missing term. So we can proceed by extracting the numerical coefficients. In the cubic part, the numerical coefficient is 1. And for the quadratic term, the numerical coefficient is negative 3. For the linear term, the coefficient is 1. And for the constant term is -1. Then we need to find the value of k by equating the divisor x minus 2 to 0. And that is x minus 2 is equal to 0 and x is equal to 2. And that 2 is the value of k. Place the value of k on the upper left, this one. Second, bring down the leading coefficient of the dividend. Here, we have to bring down this leading coefficient, which is 1. Then, start multiplying that 1 to the division box, which is 2, and write the product below the second coefficient, this one. Next is add the entries in the second column and write the sum below. Negative 3 plus 2 is negative 1. Fifth, we are going to repeat step 3 and step 4 until the last column. We'll multiply again. Negative 1 times 2 is negative 2. Then add. 1 plus negative 2 is negative 1. Multiply. Negative 1 times 2 is negative 2. Then negative 1 plus negative 2 is negative 3. Now this number, negative 3, is the remainder. Number 6, write the quotient using the coefficients in the row by affixing the variables except for the last number, which is the remainder. Note that the degree of the quotient is 1 less than the degree of the dividend. The degree of the dividend is 3. Thus, the variable of the leading coefficient of the quotient must be of x squared or quadratic term. We have, since the coefficients are 1, negative 1, negative 1, and negative 3, this number 1 here represents the quadratic part or the x squared, and this negative 1 represents the x part or the linear term. Negative 1 is for the constant term, and this negative 3 here is remainder. Therefore, the answer is x squared minus x minus 1 minus 3 over x minus 2. No need to write 1 as the numerical coefficient because in mathematics, no need to write that number 1. It's understood that there is 1 there before that variable, and that is equal to these coefficients. Example number 2. Find the quotient and the remainder when 4x to the fourth power minus 7x squared plus 7x minus 6 is divided by 2x minus 1. To solve this problem, we need to follow these steps. First, write the coefficients of the dividend and the divisor. Take note, we need to arrange the exponent of the dividend in decreasing order. And we are going to replace 0 or put 0 as the numerical coefficient of the missing term if there is. Now, in the given dividend, the exponent is already arranged, but there is a missing term which is the cubic term. Now, take note that if there is a missing term, we need to add 0 or put 0 as the numerical coefficient. That is why you have there 4x to the fourth power plus 0x cubed minus 7x squared plus 7x minus 6. The purpose of adding 0 for the missing term is just to give space. Okay, getting now the numerical coefficients of this dividend, we have 4 for the leading term and 0 for the cubic term, negative 7 for the quadratic term, positive 7 for the linear term, and negative 6 for the constant term. Then we are going to identify the value of k by equating the divisor 2x minus 1 to 0. So 2x minus 1 is equal to 0. Then transpose this negative 1 to the other side. It becomes 2x is equal to positive 1. Then divide both sides by 2. And we have the value of k is equal to 1/2. And that 1/2 is our k. Then place the value of k on the upper left here. This is the value of k. We have 1/2. Then start by bringing down the leading coefficient of the dividend. We have 4. Next is multiply the first coefficient 4 by the number in the division box, which is 1/2, and write the product below the second coefficient. Then after that, we are going to add the entries in the second column and write the sum below. 0 plus 2 is 2. Then multiply again, repeat step 3 and step 4 until the last column. 2 times 1/2 is 1. Negative 7 plus 1 is negative 6. And negative 6 times 1/2 is negative 3. 7 plus negative 3 is 4. 4 times 1/2 is 2. Negative 6 plus 2 is negative 4. This number here, or the last number, is what we called the remainder. So we have already the value for the remainder. Number 6, write the quotient using the coefficients in the row by affixing the variables except for the last number, which is the remainder, this one. So these are the coefficients. And take note that the degree of the quotient is less than the degree of the dividend. The degree of the dividend here is 4. Thus, the variable of the leading coefficient of the quotient must be of the power of 3, or cubic. Since the value of k is equal to 1/2, we have to divide this coefficient here of the quotient by 2. Again, we need to divide these numbers here by 2, except the remainder. The coefficients are 4, 2, negative 6, 4, and negative 4. But take note again, we will not include this remainder here. We will just only divide these numbers, the red color. Divide it by 2. Therefore, we have the coefficients. 4 divided by 2, that is 2. 2 divided by 2 is positive 1. Negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3. And 4 divided by 2 is 2. And just copy negative 4 since that is the remainder. We'll not include it in dividing. Then this is our new numerical coefficient, and we'll be using this one in adding the variables that we have. This 2 represents the cubic part, and 1 represents the quadratic part. Negative 3 represents the linear part, and 2 represents the constant, and negative 4 is the remainder. Now, combining this numerical coefficient to our variable x with their corresponding exponents, now we have this final answer. 2x cubed plus x squared minus 3x plus 2 minus the remainder, which is 4, over the divisor, 2x minus 1. And now it's your turn. I want you to solve this individual practice for you to check if you are really learning from this discussion. And please comment your answers below so that I can check also if your answers are correct. And that's all for today. Thank you for watching.